Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled, What If Ezekiel Elliott Flipped from Ohio State to Missouri? The story you're about to hear is fictional and created for entertainment. It begins with one change in college football history and then follows along the ripple effects. It's December 2014. The college football playoff rankings flash across TV screens. As expected, the first three teams are Alabama, Oregon, and Florida State. Fourth team, not Ohio State, but Missouri. One fan base celebrates, another sits in stunned silence. Commentators spend weeks asking the same question. Did one recruiting flip change the entire sport? To answer that, we got to go back a couple years. And that sets the table for the one recruit everyone wanted. It's easy to forget now, but Missouri had something to prove. They had just entered the SEC. Around the country, people laughed. They won't survive. They don't belong. They're just filling space. Meanwhile, Ohio State had hired Urban Meyer. Ohio State wasn't rebuilding, they were reloading. And sitting right outside St. Louis was one of the nation's best high school running backs, Ezekiel Elliott. Ohio State had momentum. Urban Meyer had momentum. Everyone expected Elliott to become another Ohio State star. Until Gary Pinkel makes one final visit. He doesn't promise championships, nor does he promise the NFL. He asks one question. What if you become the player who proved Missouri belonged? Suddenly, this wasn't Ohio State versus Missouri. It was legacy versus home. Signing day arrives. TV cameras expect scarlet and gray. Instead, Ezekiel Elliott reaches for black and gold. Missouri erupts. Ohio State goes silent. One recruiting flip instantly becomes the national news. No one realizes college football has just changed forever. And that sets the table for a new rivalry begins. Urban Meyer never criticizes Missouri publicly. He doesn't need to. Instead, Ohio State quietly becomes far more aggressive recruiting Missouri. Every elite recruit is suddenly contested. Gary Pinkel notices. Missouri answers by going after Midwest prospects it once ignored. Recruiting battles become personal. Every commitment feels like payback. Before long, fans begin calling it one of college football's fiercest recruiting rivalries. Neither school admits it publicly, but everyone notices. Whenever Ohio State wants to recruit, Missouri is there. Whenever Missouri lands a prospect, Ohio State is not far behind. And that sets the table for Missouri finding its superstar. Missouri's 2013 season was already special. Now imagine adding one exciting freshman waiting in the wings. Gary Pinkel doesn't rush Elliott, he develops him. By the end of the season, the Tigers do very strong in the SEC, only now everyone is talking about the future. The question changes. It's no longer, can Missouri compete? It's, how good is Missouri about to become? And that sets the table for Ohio State adapts. Ohio State doesn't collapse. That's important. They're still loaded. Urban Meyer still recruits at an elite level. The defense is still terrifying. The quarterback room is still full of talent. But something feels different. Ohio State has stars. Missouri has that star. The player every highlight show wants. The player every defense fears. Every Elliott touchdown becomes another reminder. He almost wore scarlet. And that sets the table for 2014. By November, America realizes something unbelievable. Ohio State and Missouri are both great. Both teams keep winning. Every Saturday, the debate grows louder. Who made the right decision? Urban Meyer or Ezekiel Elliott? Missouri rolls through the SEC behind the hometown superstar. Ohio State survives another Big Ten schedule. Selection Sunday arrives. Millions watch. The playoff committee reveals the field. Alabama, Florida State, Oregon, Missouri. Ohio State nearly misses the cut. Ohio State fans are furious. Talk radio blames strength of schedule, recruiting, committee politics. But one storyline dominates every headline. Did Ezekiel Elliott cost Ohio State a playoff berth? And that sets the table for the largest game in Missouri history. The semifinal isn't just football anymore, it's validation. Missouri's not just playing for a championship, it's playing for every joke made when they joined the SEC, every prediction that said that Missouri didn't belong. Elliott delivers the game of his life. Long touchdown, fourth quarter conversion. Missouri survives. They are going to the national championship. Back in Columbus, Ohio State fans can only wonder, what if he never flipped? And that sets the table for legacy. History usually remembers championships. The story remembers choices, one recruiting decision, one conversation in a living room, one coach selling home instead of tradition. Urban Meyer still builds a powerhouse. Ohio State still becomes one of college football's best programs of the 2010s. Gary Pinkel cements his place among the sport's greatest program builders. And Ezekiel Elliott, instead of becoming the face of Ohio State, he becomes the player who forever changed Missouri football. Not because he won every game, not because he broke every record, but because one decision forced an entire sport to ask, how different can college football become when one recruit chooses home? And if you enjoyed this college football alternate history scenario, hit like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next timeline.